Good evening, students. I'm doing this algebra lesson number 112 at 10:15 in the evening. I have some things going on tomorrow, so I'm going to attempt to do that now. If I make a mistake or two, you just have to overlook it for the late hour. But here we go, lesson 112. I'll do several of those for you. We have new stuff, I think, on 8 and 9. Look at that. All right, number one. We have a distance problem to start with here on number one, and it is the northbound bus and a southbound bus. I know if that's the case that we will start in the middle and we will go out. One north and one south. We have a distance of the north and a distance of the south, and when you have a straight line, you always have a total. It looks like talking about the buses were 580 miles apart. So there's our distance equation. I'll set up like that. We go RT plus RT equals 580. And this is going to be north, and this will be south. The northbound had been on the road at 50 miles per hour. So this is north at 50 miles per hour. And the southbound had been at 45 miles per hour. Need one more. We need something with the time. So I'll just simply put those up here. Time of north and time of south. What do we have? Northbound had been on the road for 4 hours before the southbound. So I think we would be, southbound had been on the roads 4 hours less, so we have to add 4 to south to make them equal. Reread that. The northbound had been on the road for 4 hours before the southbound left, so we add 4 to make the southbound catch up with him on time. All right, so Tn equals Ts plus 4 plus 45. Ts equals 580. That's going to be distributive property. Is going to make this 50 Ts plus 4 times 50 is 200 plus 45 Ts, and that's going to equal 580 again. The 50 Ts plus the 45 Ts equals 95 Ts, and it equals 580, and we put the 200 on that side. That's a subtraction. That's going to be 380. 380 divided by 95 equals 4. So the time of the south equals 4. What's the question? How long was the southbound bus on the road before they were 580 miles? He was on the road for 4 hours. There is your answer for number one. And number two. No, we got number 7. I'm sorry. Jump up to number 7. Sketch the graphs. Okay, this is A, B, C, and D. And remember, on these kind, we made our homemade graphs like this. Is at and that. Let's see what, so for A it's an x3, for B it's a negative x cubed, for C it's an x cubed negative 1, and for D it's going to be an x positive 1 cubed. All right, if you remember, the sketch for an x cubed is a diagram like this. Okay, so we have no number included with this x cubed, so we start off at 0. We want this to come up and cross 0 exactly. There's our sketch of A. B is nearly the same. There's no number included with that. So again, we do the 0, but it is a negative, so we go just the opposite. We go this way. That is a negative. Here we have a -1. It does not have inclusive marks with this -1. So we are going to be on the y line, which is this line right here. And the -1 is going to be right here. So we want this, it's a positive x cubed, so we're going to go again, come across and come up, crossing that -1 spot. Number 4 is similar, but it has inclusive marks, so we change this number to the opposite of what it is. A -1 on this is on the x line, this was on the y because it does not have inclusive. This is on the x because it has inclusive. We change, and when it has inclusive signs, we change the number to the opposite of what it is. That's a -1. That's going to be right here. It's about -1. So this time we want to come up and cross it right there and up here about like that. And that is for number 7. Number 8. This is nearly the same as what we have been doing. We'll just do this. And what they're giving us is an x, -2, and these absolute value signs are the same as inclusive signs. So is this on the y line or x line? Remember, inclusive signs we use the x line, and we change this number inside the inclusive line. So now we're going to be out here, +2 is about here. And if you remember the absolute value signs, we don't need to do this, but absolute value is something like this. Okay, now we look at A, B, C, and D, and we simply want to know where do we start this graph, the sketch. Is it A says vertical 2 units up? Vertically it'd be here. Are we here? No, we're not here. B says 2 units to the right. Ah, that looks like it here. We're going to take it that. Let's check the next 2. The other one is 2 units down. No, we're not here. The other one's 2 to the left. No, it is B. B is our answer. And now number 9. This is your new stuff. 9 has an A and B. And I'm going to tell you both of those take a lot of room, so we may do B on our practice down here on the bottom of our lesson where practice is, because I don't think we can get A and B on there. Let's do A first. This says 2 -3 to the square root of 12, and they are side by side. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to multiply them. Let's set it up this way. 3 plus 2 to the square root of 12. We multiply this by multiplying all the numbers times each other. We'll start right here. 3, put this like this. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times -3 is -9 to the square root of 12. Now we go this route. This is +2 times 2 is +4 to the square root of 12. These are the same. One more time. This is +2 times -3 is a -6 to the square root of, this is 12 times 12. That's going to be 144. Illusion, go back over it. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times -3 is -9 and 12. Start on this one. +2 times 2 is +4 to the square root of 12. The last one is +2 times -3 is a -6 times 12 times 12 is the square root of -144. We add what we can. Here we have a 6, a -9, and a +4 is a -5 to the square root of 12. We have a -6 to the square root of 144. And we'll simplify these as much as we can. The 12 can be simplified how? I'll just do it off to the side. Let me do it up here. 12 is a 2 is a 6, 2 and a 3. So it's 2 times negative 5 is a negative 10 to the square root of 3. We'll bring the 6 down. Here's the 144. The square root of 144 is 12. Is that right? So we take 12 times this negative 6 is a negative 72. Now are we finished? Not quite. We still have two whole numbers. Combine these two together, and that is going to be negative 66. And this is like simple as it can get, negative 10 to the square root of 3. Finally, we have our answer. If you think that was complicated, wait till B. Now again, you will not have enough room to do it, so switch over on your lesson there and do B on the practice block so you have room, but then bring your B up here on this one, so when we're scoring it, it has that answer. Okay, so this is A. I'm going to do B now. Let's erase all this. This is going to be B. A bit more complicated yet. B says, this is what we have here. 2A negative 3P squared. Okay, all of this, I'm sorry, this is the way it is. All of that squared, which means that this times itself, right? So I have a 2A negative 3P times 2A negative 3P. Are you with me? We're going to square this, we're going to multiply. No, here we have it. Start off on this side. 2 times 2 is 4, and A times A is A squared under the square root sign. Now this times this is a negative 6, A and a P. And that is like this. That's a square root there. Okay, now we're ready for this one. And negative 3 times 2 is a negative 6 AP also. And one more time, we got it. Negative times a negative, it's going to be a positive, but it's going to be 3 times 3 is 9. And P times P is a P squared. And I hope you're still with me. At this point, we have a 4A squared, and this is negative 1 times plus negative 1 is a negative 2, 6, AP. We've added these together. Negative 1 and a negative 1 is a negative 2, 6 AP. And then we have, finally we have 9P squared over here. That'd be a positive. Whew. Now we are ready to simplify this. So the square root of 4 is a 2, and square root of A is an A. We just simplified this. This is a, we really can't simplify this one. So we simply say negative 2 to the square root of 6AP. This one we can again, square root of 9 is a 3, and the square root of P is a P. I think this is the final answer. Let's just see here. I'm going to verify it on my sheet with number B. It's 2A negative 6AP plus 3P. This is for B now. So put this over on B, even though you worked it out on the practice set. Put this answer over on number 9. You have an A and a B. That's a bit difficult, that kind of multiplication, to keep your head straight. Okay, number 12. is graph the following conjunctions and disjunctions. This is called a conjunction here. Here's the original x negative 3, 6. And these is integers, so we have to keep that in mind. Okay, if you remember, we have to get x by itself. This negative 3 stands in our way. We move it to the outside, and as it crosses this greater than sign, it changes its number. So it's 4, negative 3 here. It's going to be a positive 3. That's going to be a 7. We also use it on this side. So over here, it's going to be a positive 3, and a positive 6 is a positive 9. Remember, it's integers, okay? Here's our number line. We might as well just use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 6, 4, and a 2. Right here, 7x is greater than or equal to 7. Here is 7 greater than or equal to 7. We want to put our first, it's an integer, so we just put a solid dot. Then we go to this one, and this is less than 9. Anything less than 9 on the integer is going to be 8. So really we just put 2 dots on, one's on 7 and one is 8, and that is completion of that one. Number 13. Number 13 is a disjunction, and we have original, let's see, get rid of all this. 13 is an x plus 2, 5, or, that's a disjunction, so we simply have x positive 2 and 6. And the domain is reals. Okay, we have to get x on this side, so x is, move the positive 2 over here, comes a negative 2, 5 and a negative 2 is a 3, or x, again, move this positive 2 over to the side, negative 2, so it is a 4. Remember, this is reals. So here's our, again, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 4, 2. We'll do this in first. So x is going this way, arrow's going this way, and we do the 3 right here. It's a reals, and it's not equal to, so it's an open circle, and it goes this way. This one on this side starts off at 4, and it does equal it, so we get a solid dot and a arrow to the right. There's the completion of number 13. 17 is an interesting one. Here we have a 2, square root of x, negative 4 equals 3. I would say first we move the negative 4 to the other side, making this a 7. Negative 4, positive 4, and 3 is a 7. Equals a 7. Now we have the 2 here. When it's beside it, it's a multiplication. To undo multiplication, we divide. So to get rid of this 2, we put it over here and divide by it. Now we got rid of our 2, and we have the x standing alone. How do we get rid of the square root sign? Like we always have. We square it. What we do on one side, we do on the other. We square this side. After we square it, we simply pull it out, and that's going to be x equaling square of 7 over 2. Are you with me? Times 7 over 2. We squared it. 7 times 7 is 49, and 2 times 2 is 4. So our answer is 49 over 4. If it works after we check our answer, how are we going to check our answer on that one? Here's the original. X, negative 4 equals 3. Is it possible? Here we go. I'm going to replace with our x, is what we have solved for it. 49 over 4. What is the square root of anything? I'm just going to do just to remind us. The square root of 4 is a 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Is that correct? Do the same thing here. What times what equals 49 over 4? If you remember, 7 over 2 equals 7 over 2 times 7 over 2. So the square root of 49 over 4 is a 7 over 2. That removes our square roots. So we have a 7 over 2. And remember, this is a multiplication, so we multiply this. 2 times 7 is 14. And 1 times 2 is 2. What is 14 over 2? Simplify that. That is 7. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Then we take this as a negative 4 equals 3. Does 7 negative 4 equal 3? 3 equals 3. Bingo! That 49 over 3 has been proven that it is the right number for x. And one more time, number 29, and I am going to bed after this one. Y'all can stay up all night if your parents let you, but I'm going to bed. Here we go. This is a multiplication. This is finding the area, so you'll know how to do this, and I'm just going to do it so that you follow the process. 12 3/5 times 14 2 over 7. Put this into a mixed number. 5 times 12 is 60, plus 3 is 63 over 5, times 7 times 14 is 98, 99 100 over 7. Cross cancel. 1 and 20, is that correct? And a 1 and 9. 9 times 20 is 180 over 1, or 180, and what kind of a label do we have? We have inches, it's area, so we squared, and that is number 29. Also, that is number 112. If I do my math right, we have 8 lessons to do after this one. We're getting there. Y'all keep your head up. We will complete this, Lord willing, in just a week or so. All right, good night.